Hello guys, today we're going to be creating a blockchain application which is a web-based simple blockchain wallet, and we're going to use Zilliqa as a blockchain platform. Okay, so how these applications work is very simple, that we need to first authenticate your wallet with the key store file given from the platform, and then I'm going to upload this one, and you can give the passphrase for this one to authenticate, and then you can register your wallet at any point of time. So you can see the amount of money that you have in your wallet and the address of the wallet, as well as there are a few options like you can send money to different addresses, and you can view the history, and of course you can log out from your wallet after you're done with the process. So this is one of the examples of the simple creating a simple application, and there are wallets for the blockchain, different blockchain platforms, as well as there are wallets which support multiple blockchain platforms like Moonlet. This is one of the examples that it comes as a Chrome plugin, Chrome add-on, so you can authenticate. So you can with these kind of wallets you can actually authenticate multiple platforms and use them to transfer the money and view the transactions and also sort of things. So the purpose of this application is not only about a wallet, but some sort of overall overview about the working with the blockchain application, blockchain platforms, and the basic concepts of applying when you are developing blockchain application. So Zilliqa I choose as a platform to develop my distributed application. So this is the Zilliqa. The reason why I choose Zilliqa for this one is basically they are claiming that they are on top of the transaction speed of the transaction, like transaction rate, offering a transaction rate around thousands per second. So if you take an example from different multiple other popular blockchain platforms like Bitcoin or Ethereum, to develop the application, to develop a decentralized application, their transaction rates are very slow. Like, say, giving an example, in the Bitcoin, you can only get about 8 to 10 transactions per second, but Zilliqa is claiming about thousands, like around 7,000 as I remember. If you are aware about transactions happening, online transactions happening in the e-commerce applications using Visa or MasterCard, so their transaction rate is around thousands. So in the future, Zilliqa can be a potential replacement for these Visa or MasterCard transactions, as it claims that they are having a really good underlying technology to sort of to perform up to the level of Visa or MasterCard. So these are the some of the insights that I found. So if you are interested, you can visit their website and read the research paper published I think around 5 years back. They have a global collaborations, and they are with some blockchain field experts, subject matter experts, and they are doing really good in this area. So if you are interested in blockchain, the Zilliqa will be a place where you can start the things. And this is the heads up on that, and let's go back to the code and let's see how you can create this simple wallet. So good thing about this is I have put my code base into the GitHub. So after this video, if you are interested in creating your own application, you can actually use my wallet as a base. Okay, let's get the thing started. If you're someone who is touching the blockchain for the very first time, you may not understand the concept of decentralized applications. So I would highly recommend you that to get the basic conceptual knowledge about the blockchain, how that blockchain works, and how do you use a blockchain as a platform to save the data, and how these blocks interacted with each other, and why everyone is interested about blockchain, what is the security and the transaction, safe transaction, how they support a safe transactions through the security, and all these concepts. You probably is the best idea to understand those concepts before we get started in the code. So I would highly recommend you go back to Udemy and check for some of the free courses available for blockchain to understand the concepts. I did the same, to be honest, to understand blockchain. This concept-wise, blockchain is not very complex thing to understand. It's a decentralized application. Like there is no central authority. If you're doing a transaction with the money, your bank is the centralized authority which is approving all the transaction and creating regulatory regulations and the rules about that. And if you are working with any other in the software application, in the software or IT field, you have a central authority to save your data, that's your database. So likewise, there is no central authority to approve the things. That's why everyone is interested on the blockchain at the very first place. And through this decentralized nature that the blockchain offers, the how they manage the security and how the other stakeholders like miners and other nodes and the other people who are in the blockchain as entities. So these stakeholders interactions probably is the best idea to learn. So I highly recommend you follow one of these free courses. I'm not going to go to much details because today's purpose is not that. Today's purpose is to get started with our blockchain platform Zilliqa and how to use a simple wallet. Let's go to the code base. This is the code base. So if you are interested on extending my same code base, what you have to do is you can go to the GitHub and clone my repository, and then from there I have given simple instructions how to get started with install the application in the first place and then get started using that. So I'm using Node.js, not a new thing. Like everyone in the JavaScript field knows about Node.js very well, and I'm using pure JavaScript, CSS and HTML on top of that. And of course I'm using Zilliqa's SDK for JavaScript to interact with the platform. Okay, so let's go to my code. The physical location where I save my code is this one, and if you copy the root, go here, and this is the path. I'm already in my path, and just all you have to do is create a node, put a command node, and then this app.js is the path that is the initial starting point. And then I'm gonna start my app using this command, and then you can see the wallet app is listening to the port 3000. Go back here to the browser and request the port and application in your localhost, and it just comes in. So that's simple as that, how to use this. Let's go to the before I come back to my application, let's understand the basics about the Zilliqa and how to integrate Zilliqa platform to your own decentralized app. As a very first step, let's go to the Zilliqa developers portal. So the zilliqa.com/developers, I put the link down below in the description for your reference. So this in this place, in this page portal, so if you scroll down to the bottom, you can see they have a bunch of options. The first place to get started any sort of application in IT is going through an API documentation. I'm not recommending to go to the comprehensive API documentation to read everything about this one, but at least you must know about related methods and how these pieces get interacted each other, and syntaxes that Zilliqa uses from their proprietary API. So these are very important things. So just in the left hand side you can see their JavaScript SDK, and that is where actually we have to get started things. But before we go to the JavaScript SDK, I go back to my developers portal again, and you can see they provide testnet wallet. Go to here and you can see in their dev wallet, the purpose of this dev wallet is to launch a wallet for your own, for your development perspective. Launch that wallet in the Zilliqa platform for the very first time. So you actually gonna do all your transaction, all your code on top of the Zilliqa wallet that you launch at the platform from this place. Okay, so let's go ahead and create a new wallet. So this is a very basic thing that you can use a simple password for that. Anything with the with given instructions, and then you understand, you agree with the conditions. So they are saying like not to use the actual coins on the transactions on the addresses. So because these are pure purpose of this one is testing, and then we're going to confirm that. Okay, after you confirm, you can generate a key store file. So this key store file contains the private key of your wallet and the other information to validate your private key. So you can generate the key store file, so it will download to your local computer. Cool. So this is a JSON file. I'm going to open this one. Before you open this one, I recommend you copy this private key to a location. Okay, so I'm gonna put this one safer in my local computer someplace and save it to the location that I'm gonna use for that. That's your private key for your wallet. Okay, and then remember you have to go to send Zil. This means you can send the values to a different wallet address, blockchain address within a platform using the wallet that you just created. So just type the private key here and I get access to that. Cool. So right away you can see you can send addresses, send Zils the money to the given addresses using this one. Okay. So at the moment, the reason why I wanted to create this wallet is this actually gives us some test coins value about 300 zils to use for the testing purposes. They are giving about 300 zils for the testing, and how you get it is you need to go here and you need to type the address of your own wallet. So let's go back in here. This is actually the address of this wallet. I'm going to copy this one and go here, type here, and then run the command. So now it is actually mining some money, coins, and then it will reflect in my wallet in few seconds time. Cool. So transaction is still pending at the blockchain side. It will confirm soon. Let's go to the wallet again. So it's still 0. Right, it might take some time, might be a couple of seconds or few seconds, up to 10 seconds maybe. So just patient and see up till you get 300 zils for the testing. There you go, you can see 300 zil is right away refreshed, reflected in your account. Cool, everything is good up to this point. Let's go back to our code again. Here I am at my code base again. So let's understand the structure of the code. There is nothing much, nothing complex, just 3 main folders you can find: node modules folder, services, and views. Node modules folder comes with the npm packages that you're going to install, and then the views folder contains your views in the application, like the first auth view, and then you have other couple of views to send the values to the address or view the transactions. So these files representing that, and since I'm using express.js default user interfaces, then I'm having this syntax to display something in the web page. So these are like traditional application development with HTML, JavaScript, and Node.js. And one class I created within the services folder, that is to access the Zilliqa platform and expose the service methods which I use to authenticate and send the values, as well as displaying some of the data in my wallet. So if you go back here, you can find, if you scroll up, then here I'm importing all the necessary information from the Zilliqa JavaScript API. So later I will show you how to get these things through GitHub. And then this class developed as a separate JavaScript module where you can finally export it from here, and the name of the class is the wallet data. So I'm having this it's a JavaScript file, and methods in this file is basically asynchronous methods. I'm using async keyword because most of the things, like almost all the things in the Zilliqa platform level as well as in the Node.js level happen from the background. It's the way of how the Node.js usually works, and mostly the JavaScript frameworks works. Non-blocking UI with the promises, observables, or using async keyword. So since I'm using async keyword, the caller receive this as a promise, JavaScript promise. Then they can change the promise using a then keyword. I will go to the front end. This is the caller app.js file. So in the front end, we have two different type of services. Get services, and in top of this file, the get services to load the data to the browser. Say for example, if I want to this page, then this service is a get service. Which load this file, and once you upload this one, and authentication is actually the post service, which you send the data to the server. If you go back in here again, so you can find the equivalent post service like this, and within the post service you are calling a service file, that is the Zilliqa service.js, and I'm creating a class object called wdata, and then this is the method, how I call this method, and the promise. This is a callback function which comes as a promise, which returns the data from the callback function behind the scene, from the background. So how the JavaScript application works in the nature. So there's nothing much to learn here, but the important thing is how you access the Zilliqa API methods. Okay, means this part of the code. Let's go back to the browser again, and here is the Zilliqa developers portal. This one, from developers portal, they expose the Zilliqa JavaScript library, and if you click here, it will bring back to the GitHub repository, and then clone this repository. Within this repository you find examples. Okay, so these examples are quite self-explanatory. You can not perfect way of presenting the things, but probably it is at least they have all the examples based on the different scenarios and use cases. So I use this hello world JS file, and it has it explains about how to authenticate, and then how to send the values to the different addresses. So related methods I've been mentioning here, and then I dragged the code from these files and created my own service wrapper within this Zilliqa service.js file. So I recommend you to have a sort of a structure like this if you are working with the JavaScript application. So unfortunately, I couldn't find something well organized in the Zilliqa own documentation. The reason why I'm saying is, like, JavaScript world is very distributed. Things are everywhere. Like, there are a lot of platforms like MeanStack, Vue.js, EXE.js, Knockout.js. People are using JavaScript from different approaches. So at the moment I couldn't find different examples which map with that one. That's why I use the simple plain JavaScript with the Node.js to develop this one. And this is very simple, self-explanatory, and you feel free to download this file and create your own distributed decentralized application with Zilliqa platform. So Zilliqa is not only limited to wallets and these simple applications, but they also exposing the concepts like smart contracts. If you have worked with Ethereum Solidity framework, creating smart contracts, Zilliqa is also having a same sort of a platform, set of options offered to the users to create smart contracts. So their API documentation contains these paths to expand and create applications with these technologies. And I'm not going to go to much details today. So you feel free to download my code base and expand and extend the things from there. So that's the end of this video. I wish that it's quite explanatory and informative for you. So my name is Hasitha and I'm a software architect based in Singapore. I'm creating videos like this mainly from the areas like .NET, JavaScript, and cloud infrastructure. I'm cloud certified architect mostly working based in Singapore. So if I find the videos and the things that I'm sharing is interesting, just subscribe to my channel. And so cheers. Thanks.